Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing an everyday glowing makeup tutorial. Over the last few months, I have started to really prefer a more natural look when it comes to makeup. Now don't get me wrong, I still love to do full glam, glitter, false lashes, contour, all that. But on an everyday basis, I've started experimenting, wearing less full coverage makeup, softening the brows a little bit, not so much contour, and I'm really liking the way that that looks. I think that you can love both. You can love full glam and you can love a more natural look. Now, my definition of natural might be different than yours. I've done videos in the past where I have shown you like very minimal, quick makeup, and I have to be honest with you, that wasn't really me. So the look I'm going to be showing you today is what I consider to be my happy medium. It's not full glam and it's also not so minimalist either. It's kind of in between. It's not a lot of steps. It's not a lot of products. It might, again, be more than some of you consider to be natural or easy or everyday. But for me, this is what I consider to be an everyday look. It's glowy, it's pretty, it's easy to do, not a lot of steps, not a lot of products. So let's get to the tutorial. So I'm beginning with nothing on my face but moisturizer. I'm going to begin the way I always do with my primers. Sometimes I will use a face primer and an eye primer. Today I'm just using an eye primer because I am testing out a foundation for a review, and yesterday I tried it with a primer, so today I want to try it without a primer to see if it's any different. So I'm going to be applying my Milani eyeshadow primer all over my lids. My lids are very, very oily, so this step is a must for me. I apply it all over my lids and also underneath because that helps the eyeliner or any shadow I put under here to stay in place as well. So I cover the entire eye area with the shadow primer. Now the foundation I am trying out for a review is this Marc Jacobs Shameless Youthful Look 24-Hour Foundation. I'm in the shade Medium Y320. And if you prefer a tinted moisturizer or a powder foundation, you can go ahead and use that. I am, as I said earlier, I'm trying to go a little bit more natural and not wear such full coverage foundation. This one claims to be a medium coverage foundation, and I definitely find that to be true. I'm using a lightly dampened beauty blender to apply it. I'm actually gonna shake it up a little first. And I'm not gonna say too much about this foundation right now because I do wanna save it for the full review. But as you can see, this medium 320, Y320, does have a yellow undertone to it, which I like because that knocks out any of the redness I have in my skin. And you can see, hopefully, that it's more medium coverage versus full because you can still see some discoloration along my jawline. Okay, so once my foundation is on, then I move on to concealer. I am going to be using today the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer and Contour. Picked this up at Ulta the other day. I am going to be posting an Ulta haul very soon. I'm applying this on the inner corners by my nose and just covering those beautiful dark circles, taking my beauty blender and blending it out. And then I also take it up onto my lid to get rid of any discoloration there. And I have been using for my concealer to blend out the micro mini beauty blender. I love it so much, but it's so tiny and I only have one, so it keeps disappearing. Otherwise I would be using it right now because I love how it can really just get up in here and it doesn't remove any product. So I highly recommend those micro beauty blenders. Now, once my foundation and concealer are on, I am going to set my face with a light dusting of loose powder. I have very, very oily skin. If you have more normal to dry skin, you might not want to set with powder, but I do find that for most skins, using a nice, silky, lightweight setting powder will give the skin a real airbrush finish, but just choose your powders wisely. I'm using this one from Catrice. It's called Nude Illusion. For a drugstore powder, this one is actually very, very nice. It's very, as I said, finely milled, gives a real airbrushed look to the skin. And then I'm also dusting a little bit on my lids and underneath the eyes. Now, instead of contour, I'm going to just be lightly bronzing my skin. This is the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula in light bronze. And I am just giving myself a little bit of color on my cheeks and my forehead. And then I like to take a little bit and place it where the sun would naturally hit, which is on my nose and the tops of my cheeks. Now moving on to blush, I'm going to be using one of my favorite products for a glowy everyday look. That is Milani's Bella Bellini blush. Now what I like about this is that it's a 2-in-1. It's a glowy blush, so you don't have to use a separate blush and highlight. You're getting the best of both worlds in this one product. This is not the only blush like this. There are plenty of others on the market that have this kind of glowy effect. So if you are someone with more dry skin and you prefer to use a liquid blush or cream blush, there are quite a few out there that also have that little bit of luminosity, so you don't have to use a separate glow product or highlighter. Now, sometimes they can be too glittery, so you don't want a blush with glitter. You want one with just a soft sheen, and you'll see what I mean when I apply this. I just take a little bit on my blush brush, I smile, and apply it to the apples of my cheeks and brush back towards my hairline. And you can see it has this beautiful glowy sheen. It's not a glitter, it's not a heavy sparkle, it's just a pretty youthful glow, which is what we're going for. So now I have that glowy, fresh look without having to use two separate products. Next up is eyebrows. Now, eyebrows are really, really important for everyone, but especially for those of us over 40. They are the frame to our face, and we can also create a little bit of a lift by how we fill in our brows, how we arch our brows, and how we fill them in. So what I like to do is I like to take my arch up a little bit higher to give the look of a brow lift. I do not have a Botox brow lift, but this gives me the look of one by arching it up a little bit higher and then making sure I don't bring the tail down. You want to bring it more outward, otherwise it will drag the whole eye down. And then on top, I go a little bit higher on the arch, again, to give it that raised look, but not too much. I don't want to look like I'm surprised all the time. So I just go a little bit higher. And then also when filling in your brows, you want to make sure that you don't go too dark. You want to be a little bit darker than your natural hair color if you are light, if you have light brows like I do, but you don't want it to be too harsh because that can have the opposite effect where it can actually age you. I like to make my brows as full as I can without looking artificial, because a fuller brow is definitely a more youthful looking brow. So I just try to build it as much as I can while remaining hopefully pretty natural looking. You can see I went a little bit higher up here as well to give that lift. Filled in. So once the brows are filled in, by the way, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pencil in Taupe. I'm going to take the brow gel and brush those hairs up and over. Okay, moving on to eyes, I'm just going to be using two brushes. I'm going to be using a flat shader brush and a fluffy crease brush. This one is from Elena Badro, but it's very similar to like a MAC 224. And then this one is a Stila brush number 15. So I'm going to take the flat shader brush and I'm going to be using the Tartlette in Bloom palette. So the first shade I'm using is Firecracker. And I am just placing this all over my lid. From the lash line all the way up to the crease. And don't worry if it's messy because we're going to blend it out and it will look just fine, I promise. So this is what you should have after applying Firecracker. You don't have to use the exact colors that I'm using. Any kind of neutral bronzy brown with a hint of shimmer, again, no chunky glitter particles or anything like that. Just a soft shimmer is gonna give those eyes the glowy effect. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, if you're sitting out there and you think, oh, my lids are too wrinkled to use any type of shimmer, today's shimmers are not what they used to be. These are actually light reflective and they can often just smooth out the appearance of a textured lid. So I highly recommend giving them a try. If you've always only worn mattes, I highly recommend giving some shimmers a try. Next, I'm gonna take the shade Smarty Pants with my big fluffy brush, and I'm gonna place that into the crease and kind of blend out that Firecracker color. And then next I'm going into Rebel, once again with the same brush, and I'm just applying that to the outer corners of my eye. So next I'm going to be using Teddy Eye Kohl from MAC. I try not to use non-cruelty-free products in my videos, you guys know that, but I am on the hunt for a dupe for this pencil. Teddy, I've been using for years. It's such a beautiful bronzy brown color, and I have yet to find one that compares. So if you know of one that is cruelty-free, please let me know. But for now, I'm continuing to use my Teddy Eye pencil, and I am just lining my upper and lower lash lines with this. Going as close to the lash line as possible, and lining underneath as well. And then I'm taking my finger to blend it out. Now using my finger, I'm going in with the shade Funny Girl. And I'm just tapping that onto the center of my mobile eyelid. And then if you find that you've lost some of your eye pencil by doing that, you can just go right back over it. Now the next step is completely optional. I know some people don't like the way this looks, but I happen to really like it. I'm going to be taking that Funny Girl shade and also applying it into my tear duct area. And I don't like when it looks like people have like light beams coming out of the corner of their eyes, but I do feel like a little bit of highlight in that area is flattering. It brings a nice lightness to the eyes. So did I say I was only using 2 brushes? I'm using 3 because, but again, this is optional. Just putting a little bit in the tear duct area. And then I'm also going to take a little bit underneath my brow bone. Okay, so the eyes are pretty much done. I'm going to be curling my lashes and applying some mascara. I'm using my current favorite, which is NYX Worth the Hype mascara. And then we'll come back and finish off with lips. Okay, so for my lips, I am going to be using this NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in London. I think this is a wonderful neutral lip liner. It's very close to my natural lip color, so I'm just gonna lightly line. Filling in ever so slightly around the edges. And for gloss, I'm going to be using the Fenty Gloss Bomb. I have recently fallen back in love with this. I know I said about a month or two ago, I think it was in my monthly favorites revisited video, that I wasn't reaching for it much, but all of a sudden I just started using it again and I love it, especially for a just easy natural look. I think it's so flattering. It works on so many different skin tones, and I love that it smells like those kissing potions from when I was younger, like very, very sweet, but I don't know, there's something nostalgic about it, so it's not offensive to me, but it's not sticky. It's just so pretty and easy to wear, and I love a gloss. I say this all the time in my videos that I think a gloss is so much more flattering and more youthful looking than a matte. All right, so I'm finishing off my makeup with this Wander Beauty Glow Getter Mist. I've been using this for a couple weeks now and I really, really like it. I have oily skin, so I don't want too much of a glow, but I find that this gives just enough. It sets my makeup. It's got a lot of good for you ingredients like essential oils, but it hasn't broken me out because that's critical for any product I try. Hasn't broken me out, and it also has antioxidants, I think it was? No, fruit extracts. So this is a really nice product, and I like that it gives a fine mist. It distributes a fine mist, because sometimes setting sprays, I'll spray them and it'll just kind of come out and I will feel like my face is soaked and I'll have liquid dripping down my neck. It'll run my mascara, or make my mascara run. So this doesn't do that. It's a great product. So a couple of sprays, a couple of hand waves, and we are good. Now, as I said in the beginning, this might not be your interpretation of a natural everyday look, but it's definitely mine. I feel like this is something that I can do rather quickly with not a lot of effort, not a lot of products, and I can feel pretty and polished and glowing and feel like I look my best. And I hope that you will have learned something from this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm gonna give you one last look. I'm sorry I didn't do my hair today. That's something also that's very everyday about me that you might not know, that most days I don't bother to do my hair. I try to only wash it twice a week, and then the rest of the time it's ponytails and dry shampoo. So like always, if you did enjoy the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for new content like this at least twice a week. You can also follow me. I have a Facebook page, I have Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Everything is the same. It's all Risa Does Makeup, and I'm gonna put that somewhere in this screen. And that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.